Yeah, I agree. I think it's so easy for us today to look at the feedback and say it's, we accept it as destructive feedback. But, if we take a minute to pause and reflect, we find that it's not meant to hurt, but it's meant to improve. And I think
Absolutely.
that's hard for a lot of people to go to take that feedback without feeling self-conscious about it.
Yeah, so that's something I think people need to, you have to work at that, right? Because we're all human beings. When
Right.
we hear something that quote unquote sounds negative, or we didn't quite, measure up to where we wanted to be, we want to try to find reasons to dismiss that. And we're just missing an opportunity to grow if we do. And so I try, I'm not perfect either, but I do try to make sure that I ask for feedback, along the way, and as we're working on projects, to make sure that that we're not missing an opportunity.
Yeah, no, exactly right. So one of the things that I always end these podcast interviews with is, how important education is, right? And certainly you've gone to the top of your field in pharmaceuticals, but what kinds of, advice do you have for, those coming next in the corporate world, or in any field, for example? What kind of skills, maybe career searches, strengths finders, did you find it helpful to, structure your own career path?
So as you said, the foundational is your technical expertise, right? So that's table stakes to get into the game.
Right.
Like I said, I guess the tips that I would have for those that are coming next is keep your mind open to different career opportunities, because sometimes you'll find yourself being offered a position that isn't exactly what you wanted, but it's an opportunity to grow. I had a couple of those along the way during my time. I actually led a group that implemented Six Sigma at Eli Lilly, and that was never a job that I thought I would do, but it allowed me to stretch myself. So don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and stretch a bit, because it's an incredible learning opportunity. And you might just find that it's one of the best jobs that you'll ever have. And I looked back at the time I spent doing, the Lean Six Sigma at Lilly as one that really influenced the way I ran my business after I stepped away from that role. So stretch yourself, look for gaps. If there's a gap in what the organization is doing, I always tell people, fill the gap. And I've done that a couple times as well. My last assignment was one where I saw an opportunity where we weren't doing enough in the digital space, and made the argument that we should be, and was able to convince, upper management to fund my department. So you gotta stretch yourself and find those gaps and fill those gaps, and network, definitely. Because like I said, we don't get any of these things done alone, and getting out there and having a network of people that you can tap as you're trying to solve different types of problems, critically important. And they can look for opportunities for you, vice versa. So
yeah, and even though we've had LinkedIn now for, I don't know, 10 odd years or so, it's still something we've missed during the pandemic, is that sort of face-to-face connection. So perhaps once this COVID falls by the wayside, we'll get back to more face-to-face meetings. That's certainly, I think, something that some folks have missed. And for these younger students, I have students all the time that come to me, it's not about what they want to study. It's not about passion. They say, what career will give me the most money? And you have to, I think, sometimes temper that to say, well, okay, you might make great money in this, but we feel comfortable and energetic getting up every day to earn lots of money that in a job you may not like.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, you need to have some passion about the work that you're doing, because we spend a lot of time at work, right, and working with our colleagues. And if you're not passionate about what you're doing, the old saying that money can't buy happiness is true. You can have a lot of money and be miserable. So So they need to find something that, like you said, that they're running to it. They're getting up in the morning and wanting to come and work on, their projects and work with their colleagues. It'll be a much more fulfilling life.
I agree with you. Well, we've been talking with Dr. Lisa Shipley, who has expanded her career over 30 odd years at Eli Lilly and Merck. Lisa, great to catch up with you. Thank you so much for devoting your time to helping our next generation of leaders. Again, thanks for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, Mark, and best of luck to all your students as they get out into the workforce.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.